Gratitude. I had the urge to go back and read the book of Numbers in the Bible because my intuition told me so. And in doing this, I knew it was preparing me for this week's episode about gratitude. In the story, the Israelites roamed through the wilderness for 40 years on their journey to the promised land. And what did they do the entire time? Complained. We thirsty. We hungry. We tired. Just complaining. When all they needed to do was be grateful. Say thank you for the wins and the losses. Feel gratitude at your highest and your lowest moments. Laugh at your embarrassing mishaps and say, I needed that. Being grateful is an act of service that costs you nothing to express, but gives you everything you need to fuel your next steps. It builds the momentum in you to keep going. It makes people want to keep supporting you. It pushes an energy out into the universe that only craves reciprocity. So the next time you're caught in your own wilderness of setbacks, don't resort to your old self of worry and discomfort, but reach for a new feeling of peace and gratitude.
Finding gratitude in the present moment. Easier said than done, but out of it comes life's hidden treasures. Overwhelming gratitude isn't toxic positivity. It's finding the silver lining in an otherwise less than ideal situation. The best time to dig deep in search of gratitude is when things look most bleak. Gratitude attracts gratitude. And if you can be grateful for where you are right now, you have the power to change your circumstances. For instance, the day after my daughter was born in the hospital, they told me they believed she was deaf in one ear. Discouraged, I spent the next 2 days being grateful for everything that was right about her. 1 hour before we were scheduled to be discharged, a hearing specialist came in, tested both ears, and cleared her. Finding gratitude while I was unhappily married was harder, but I wrote in my journal every day for the things I was grateful for in my present moment, but also for the things I was calling in, like an amicable divorce and a co-parenting agreement, which I now have. Or when I was complaining about my job just the other day, and Spirit showed me a reason to be grateful for it. So I listed them all out. 2 weeks later, I got a call from my boss who said, let's expedite that promotion. Gratitude is the secret ingredient. Give thanks for things seen and unseen, for out of it is manifestation and self-actualization. Get in here, get in here, get in here, y'all. Welcome to episode 5, All Things Gratitude. And we are grateful for this episode, for you. Akilah, I'm grateful for you, and I'm grateful that we're doing this right now.
Yes, I'm so excited about this one too. And I want to start off before we begin talking about gratitude, but just acknowledging our past conversations and how they're showing up today. And because my journal entry, I said, intuition showed me that I needed to go back and read the book of Numbers. And so I write my journal entries every single week before the episode. And I was just like, okay, intuition. And it was very calm. It just said, read the book of Numbers. And then all of this, and then my journal entry just came and everything just started flowing. So intuition is leading me through everything. And now we've got gratitude to talk about today. So I'm super excited.
No, okay, I'm going to agree with you on that. And being grateful, because I said the same thing. Every time we have done an episode, both of us have experiences around that episode and the things that we talked about. So for us, it feels like confirmation. After we did episode 1, dreams, you had some killer dreams, which we are not going to talk about on this episode yet. We are going to do an after show later to talk about some of the things that have happened after these shows, because they really do show up in our lives. And then we did love. And for me, self-love has again been like, I have had a resounding feeling, like I can feel my heart space just be open to all things all the time. And that's just an amazing feeling. Then intuition, same thing, where I'm like, ooh, my intuition is stronger. So when we talk about these things, not only is it helping us get better and stronger at our spiritual gifts, but it also, in the hopes, it is helping other people as well. So it's just really interesting. Like, we walk in that walk, we talk in that talk.
We are affirming it, and it is showing up. And that we all you missed manifestation, because I think
Oh,
there's a direct connection with manifestation and gratitude. Like
yeah, absolutely.
gratitude actually sets you up for those things to manifest in your life, right? If you are grateful for it each and every day, and you make it a thing to wake up and say, I'm thankful for this and that, it's just going to continue to bring those opportunities into your life. So this one, this one is a killer, y'all.
No, I think this one is probably the most important. And like at the end,
Yeah.
with the way I ended my journal and saying that you have to be grateful for the things that you see and the things that are unseen. Because by being grateful for something that you don't
Yes.
have right now, you are calling it into your space. And so you
Right.
are already having that gratitude in those overwhelming moments. And that's also that trick with like manifestation of like, okay, I'm calling in something that actually I don't have. But allow me to get grateful for it. And
Right.
getting grateful for it impresses the subconscious to make the subconscious be like, oh, well, I guess we have it. And now the universe is like, oh, well, she thinks she has it. So we need to make sure she has it and brings it to you. So it's like this
Yes.
like full circle moment of how gratitude, overwhelmingly gratitude and genuine, authentic gratitude. You can't say you're grateful for it in the back of your head, be like, I don't really like you though. You know what I'm saying? Like, so
Right.
you have to honestly be very like honest with yourself about your gratitude. And when if it's not authentic and it's not real, then you're not going to reap the things out of it that you're trying to. So when you can really get grateful in a space, and I know when things are hard, it may be hard to find things to be grateful for, but the fact that you are still living or that you're still breathing, sometimes that's all you can be grateful for, but be grateful for it because you are, because someone
Easy.
was expecting to wake up this morning who did not.
It's so easy. It's so easy to just wake up and say, I am grateful for another day. I am
Mhm.
grateful for waking up. You know, when you go to the shower to turn your water on, I am grateful for this water coming out this spout so I could take me a shower today, right? You just be grateful for the little things, and then the bigger things just kind of level up in your life.
And they
What
show
are
up for you. Yeah.
what are okay, so tell us, what are some of the things that you're grateful for? And by the way, Thanksgiving's coming up, right? So this is a great, and you don't always just have to be thankful around Thanksgiving, y'all. This should
Yeah.
be an everyday practice.
Yeah. Okay, what am I most grateful for? I was not expecting this question, but off bat, I'm always going to say my children, my family, the people and friends that I like love the most, who so that like
Ooh,
inner circle of people who help me keep me sane, who help motivate me and inspire me, and who I know just unconditionally love me. I
yeah.
am grateful for those people. I am grateful to be alive right now in this moment and to be so aware of who I am
Ooh, I love it.
and the power that I am because I am the center of my universe. Like these are the things that I have been trying to suppress my subconscious with, these ideas, like to make them laws in my life.
Mhm.
And I finally feel and know that I believe that thing, that I know who I am. No one can take this away from me.
Sure. Yep.
No one. And so that's what I'm most grateful for.
I
What
love
about
how
you?
you I love how you well, I'm gonna just comment on yours because I love how you keep saying impressing it upon the subconscious, because what that is doing is just programming your mind, right? And so that's why it's important to wake up every day and just start your day with a grateful expression, because the constant, or the normalizing an idea or a habit, right? Creating that habit is what's going to help. Every day when you wake up, I'm grateful for this. Every day, like it's like getting up and brushing your teeth, right? Like you don't forget that part, right? So be able to just get up and say a gratitude expression, and then go on about your day. But that's suppressing it into your subconscious. So
Yeah.
that's one of the tools and resources, some little Zakkiya isms. But I love that. What am I grateful for? So absolutely, I'm going to agree with you. I'm so grateful for my family. I'm so grateful for my children. They are like my motivation. I talked about
Mhm.
unconditional love in my our love episode, and those are who I was talking about. My children, they give me unconditional love. I give them unconditional love. I'm just so grateful that they're in my life. I'm also grateful for the opportunities and the development of myself. Like I've just when I talk about opportunities, like this is an opportunity. Just being able to come on here and speak with you guys and tell my story out loud, it's something that I would have never imagined, right? I have a corporate job, y'all. Like, and to be honest,
We
I
both
love my
do.
corporate job. I do. I love my corporate job. It's kind of, pushed me in the direction of this moment, to be quite honest. So, like, in my corporate job, I have to give presentations, right? And I have to, talk with people and do small chit chat. And now when I see myself giving those presentations, it's almost like this podcast and that are aligning, right?
Mm.
Right before my eyes, right? Like I'm telling a story in my presentation now. I'm giving context. I'm making it about health and wellness in the least sense that I can. I try to always incorporate that. I always incorporate quotes into my presentations. It's like becoming something that I would have never imagined. And I'm so grateful for that development of myself. And I think it's kind of like what you were talking about when you spoke about awareness, right? I think it's kind of like the same thing also. But I'm grateful that I'm able to see myself just transform before my eyes. That's
So
amazing.
that's what I took away what you were saying when you were comparing how preparing for this podcast, because again, you all are just, this is episode 5. We can't stress this enough. We have been meeting every week for the last year and a half on FaceTime, just having open conversations about whatever had happened that week with us.
Right.
And so this is basically us turning those conversations into a podcast. And so that's why she's saying that, like, it helped her to develop herself when she had to give these presentations at work. But what I really heard was you are shifting your identity.
Mm.
You were stepping into a newer identity, an
I
identity who
love it.
before who maybe did not love presentations. Because I remember when
Right.
I first put the idea out here to do a podcast, you were like, girl, oh, I'm gonna do it, but like, I don't love this idea of being in front of the camera and on a
I
microphone telling like very
didn't.
personal stories.
Right.
So the gratitude for like us being committed to meeting every week for the soul food that we needed to give each other, and
Mm,
it translating now to what I hope that you all feel is an enriching and rewarding
right.
experience through this podcast.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I think gratitude is such a powerful affirmation, alignment. Like it encompasses all of them. Like every episode that we
Mhm.
up till now, and then future episodes, you are always going to hear us talk about gratitude and talking about being grateful because it you cannot move forward without at least giving acknowledgement to where you are or acknowledging where you have been. Those past experiences also kind of set you up for your new life. And so, thank you for acknowledging that I am shifting, baby.
Gratitude, you know why? Gratitude also feels good. You can feel gratitude. Like for the instance of like right now, when I am feeling like I need something to like feel good, right?
Yeah.
My go-to right now is TikTok Hope Core. If you just type in the search bar Hope Core,
Oh, yes.
HOPECORE, you are flooded with videos of things that remind you of how awesome it is to be a human and how we really are
Yeah.
genuinely kind people, and there is humanity and to render help or love for something for someone else that a lot of times is like strangers, right? It's just these things.
Absolutely.
But anyway, as I'm watching these videos, I feel my heart center swell. Like I
Hmm.
feel the love pouring out of myself. And that's kind of like, I feel like gratitude. Like when you genuinely are grateful for something, think about any time in your life that something has happened that you were like, oh my God, I was hoping this happened. It happened. How did you feel? What were those feelings? That's how
Hmm.
you get in touch and help draw things closer to you by admitting those frequencies. So every time you feel that love swell up in your heart, or you get a tear because something was sentimental, Those are vibrations that you're pushing out of your body, and like attracts like. So those vibrations are going and attaching to people, places, and things that can help you find more of that experience in your life.
Yeah. I feel like I'm starting to feel the energy move through me and around me. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. So when you talk about like tapping into those feelings, I'm actually starting to feel it. Like I can feel like, little tingles throughout my body. And I can actually feel like a push. It's weird, but it just happens. And I'm like, okay, something's happening. Something's happening. And I know that it's a feeling that I have and I need to because sometimes I just kind of stop and be like, okay, well, what am I thinking about to make my body react in this way, right? So I mean, I feel like as long as I can kind of stop for that moment, just understand what that feeling is, then I can bring it back up again, the next time and the next time and the next time. Because, you always hear people say, like, what was the feeling? What was the, and you're like, I don't know what the damn feeling was. So, I mean, and to be honest, the reason that we do our journal entries as well is because we are writers. Like, I don't, Zakiya and I have known each other since sixth grade, and we were pen pals. When Zakiya would go up to New Jersey for the
This is true.
summer to be with her mom, her and I would write, letters to each other the entire summer. We have been writers forever. So, like, writing in our journals is just second nature to us. But I encourage you guys to start writing things down. If it's not a journal entry, just start, get little notepads and just start writing down throughout the day any kind of feelings that you have so that you can kind of bring them back up. Always bringing it back to gratitude as well.
Well, okay, wait a minute. We also write in our journal because, girl, we get on these calls sometimes and just start talking. So we knew we needed a way to center our thoughts for our
Yes.
listeners and for the episode, so that we can remind ourselves we're talking about gratitude. Because, y'all, we can get on some tangents. Like, we
We
can really a
can.
conversation, and it can turn into so many different things. But again, that's
Yeah.
just our connection, right? That's just, and when
Right.
you find your tribe and you find the people you connect with, that's what it is. So, but yes, but writing down, I think, is incredibly important, especially for the things unseen, because as you're writing them down and then you can go back and read them, or you say them out loud, or you imagine them, you feel them. You have to do all these things to get into the vibration of
Yeah.
gratitude and the things that you're calling in for yourself. When you were talking about, like, you get these like feelings, like you can feel the energy shift, I believe that's also spiritual gifts coming online. Everybody has them in some sense, because you think people get
Mhm.
like the heebie jeebies,
Yeah.
or they'll be like, oh my God, that made all the hairs on my arm stand up.
Goosebumps.
Or you go into a place and you're like, ooh, something don't feel right. All of those are spiritual gifts, and all of our ability to decipher energy, but we need the awareness to realize what is happening, to recognize what's happening. And then when we don't know what that means, asking for clarity, like, oh, well, what does that mean? Does that mean that you'll get the answer right then and right there? Probably not. But
Right.
eventually you will. You
Yeah.
definitely will. I kind of have a story to talk about. I wasn't planning to talk about on this episode, but you know me, here we go. So I had told you all before, I'd done an ancestral reading a couple years ago. And in that ancestral reading, they told me about, wait, did I tell the story about the young girl? Wait, I feel like I told the
No,
story.
well, I know it, but I don't think you've
Oh, okay.
shared it
So,
with
so
our
this is a conversation we had. So,
community.
okay. So, in my ancestral reading, she told me that there was a young child with me, around me. So she had asked me if I had lost a child, and I said no. And so she was like, "You have a young child around you, like 5, 6 or something." She's playing. She was like, and I was just like, I was trying to figure out who that could be, and then I thought about it, and I was like, but she wasn't part of my family. And so she was like, your guides don't necessarily have to be part of your family. They don't have to be your ancestors. Like, there are ancestors who are obviously blood related to you, but she was like, guides don't necessarily have to be. So she was like, well, she's imprinted on you. And she was like, well, do you know her name? I couldn't remember her name. This is when I was about 12, maybe. She was younger. It was my grandmother's and my aunt's church in South Carolina. She was the pastor's daughter. and she was like 5 or 6, and she had an older sister. And I remember they would always come over to my aunt's house after Sunday church for Sunday dinner. And I would play with little girls. And at that age, at like 12, it's fun to play with like a younger kid. So I just remember always like really loving the idea of having like a little sister. And they were like my little sisters I could play with. Well, the youngest daughter actually got hurt and ended up dying. And so for me, it really imprinted on me because it was the first time I was a kid and still like, oh my God, a kid died. Like that was like something that stayed with me. And I would think about her. This is now like almost 30 years ago, but I would think about her over time. So I was like, that's so interesting that she is showing up for me as a guide. And I was like, I really wish I knew her name. And so I remember I said one time, and I wrote down, I said, I was grateful because you're going to tell me your name. I didn't know how it was going to come to me, but I was like, I'm imagining that I'm just going to hear it one day in my head and I'm going to know her name. This summer, I was down in North Carolina visiting family for a family reunion. And we ended up after Sunday church, we ended up going out to eat at a restaurant that we had never been to in all the time I've been going to South Carolina all my life. This is a restaurant we had never been to. We go to this restaurant. Again, this is also our last day or the next to last day that we're going to be in North Carolina. We're in this back room eating, and because there's two large rooms, and my sister comes in and she says, oh my goodness, Zakkiya, she was like, the girl's family is in the other room. Well, the little girl who she knew had showed up for me as a guide. I jump up and I run to this other room, having no idea what I'm about to say, but I saw her father and I gave her father this big hug because I was so excited. And he sat down and was like, I don't even know you. Right. And I'm like, I know. And then I thought in my head, like, oh my God, I just ran up to a stranger and hugged them. Later, I realized she was hugging him through me. I know that's what it
Ooh.
was. But and then after that moment, I was like, how do I say, what's your deceased daughter's name? Like, how
Oh
do you
yeah,
say
right.
that on a random Sunday after church, And so I was so grateful for my sister coming too, because my sister then looks at the mom and says, how long has it been since we've seen you? The mother then responds, well, let's see, says the girl's name, passed in 90, whatever it was, and then went on to tell like, so it's been almost 30 years or something like that. And in that moment that she said the girl's name, tears started to well up in my eyes that I had to like, I was like, great to see you, and like jetted
Choke
out of
right
the room.
there.
I didn't want them to see me crying. But I remember I went into the room stunned, but I was so, 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 so grateful that I now knew her name and could call her by name, and that she led me. She had to you see how much you had to orchestrate in order to get two people that live in opposite states at the same place at the same time so that we can ask a random question to get an answer that I otherwise would have never been able to find out. Because again, this was like pre-Google, right? This is pre-internet. We did not grow up with the internet like these kids. So I
Right.
couldn't just Google her name. So the fact that she gave me her name, I remember like maybe a couple days later, I had like an overwhelming moment of like, oh my God, that was amazing. And I'm so grateful that you gave me your name. So now I can call her by name, but it is just something to being grateful and
I love
writing down
that.
and calling out what it is that you want.
I love that story for you, and thank you for sharing. Um,
Mhm.
I heard someone say this week as I was listening to, just different things. They were like, gratitude is like putting on a pair of gratitude glasses and starting to see blessings all around you in everything, right? And so that's what I'm kind of I did that this week. I did that this week. I felt like every time I woke up, I put on my gratitude glasses and I just started saying thank you for everything. And so I encourage everybody to put on some glasses, not literally, but just put on, a pair of gratitude glasses and start seeing all the blessings around you. If you have a home, right? You have a roof over your head. Be blessed about that. Even though you may want another home or a newer home or a bigger home, be grateful for the roof that's over your head and the place that you're in right now, and take it a step further and do different things around your current home to kind of get you to that next step, propel you to your bigger home, or your go out to the paint store and buy some paint and, get some swatches, right? Just pick up a couple swatches and, maybe paint a nook in your home, or, just get ready for preparing your home for showings, right? So you're like, oh, okay, I need to make everything nice and gray, because you know how people love the color gray now, So, I mean, like, prepare yourself for that next level up, but be grateful for the and not only be grateful, but just express gratitude in any way that you can around your current position. So,
Yeah, no, why that's so powerful too, because it made me think about when I was still married, still living with my now ex husband. I ended up buying something that I was purposely buying for my new house. And I don't know if you can see it, but back here, there's like where I'm kind of like pointing, hanging on the wall. I bought that because I just thought it was this beautiful print. And I knew that I was going to put it into my new home. And she has like these really billowed sleeves and really like billowed like pants on. And in my head, as soon as I saw it, I was like, room to grow. That's what I called it in my head, room to grow. But I knew, so I bought it and I never took it out. I never put it up in my old home, but it was the first thing I hung when I got this home.
mm,
And it was because back then, before I had it, I was being grateful for it. So again, this is like manifestation, how you do this, right? So I was grateful for it. I showed active faith by buying something. And again, you don't have to buy something. Like you said, you could just go to Swatches and get some paint for the color of the bathroom that you're going to have in the new home that you're calling in, or whatever
right.
it is. And then be grateful for it. Let it go and watch it come back to you.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's not hard at all. And I talked about this in my journal entry. It costs nothing to be grateful. It costs nothing to
Nothing.
say these affirmations to yourself of gratitude, and express gratitude. It costs you nothing to smile at people. It costs you nothing to be kind. I'm telling you, all of these things are just, in my opinion, they connect. They are connected. If you don't understand how they are connected and how they're aligned and how they're going to get you to the next level, then you are stuck. And some work needs to be done. But I promise you that a lot of the things that we talk about on this podcast are just not only our own experiences and our journey through the hard times, but also in preparation for where we're going. Because we say it all the time. Oh my God, we are going places, girl.
Absolutely. Listen, so for nothing else, what I want you to remember right now, be grateful for that you sat through this episode, because it
Mm,
means that you are looking for reasons to improve your own life, your own
yes.
spirituality, or your own self-actualization of who you are. We're grateful for you. Find reasons all week to be grateful. We love you, and we'll see you next week. Until next time, get in here, get in here, get in here.